Hello guys, this is Steve here, and today I'm going to show you a very interesting game. So basically, this tournament is the first stage of the Malta Championship. In all, there are three stages. You have to do well and qualify in the first stage if you are to go to the next. Same with the next stage, and then you go to the third stage to play for the Malta Championship. However, this is all combined in one as the Malta Championship. So, I have not listed my opponent's name for obvious reasons. One being it may be offensive, as I mean there's no need to upload his name. I'm just going to show you the game for what it is. You don't need to know who my opponent is, and my opponent might not want you to know who he is, regardless of whether you're watching this from the US or from Malta. And if you're that genuinely interested to know who my opponent is, you can just go on FIDE and check my results by the beginning of April, where I will get my results posted and my opponents that I have beaten in this tournament, which is called the Preliminaries Malta Championship, and you can access things from there. Now I have a bit of cold, so please bear with me. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I won in 47 moves, and I'm going to show you the defense I use. So white starts with the regular e4. Now, of course, with this move e4, he wants to take control of the center with his pawn. So I have many options. I can play e5, which is sometimes the engine will actually always the engine will regard e5 as the most sound reply to e4, or c5 or e6, but I decided to go for something else. So I went for d5. Now the reason I went for d5 is that I wanted to sort of break his center as much as I could, and to sort of add a bit of dynamics to the game, since I like a game with dynamics, and I am that I like to play with some tactics and so on. So for me, this d5 move starts to open things up a little. He takes it, so this is okay. Scandinavian accepted. It's probably the best line for white if you want to keep some sort of advantage. So now I played knight f6, so my obvious reason is to just attack this pawn. And so he has quite a few options. He can do a few things. For example, he could either play c4, but it's not recommended. He could play the move d4, which is the most recommended move. Or he could simply ignore and let me take the pawn, which is also a okay move. And my opponent did that by playing knight c3. So I took, and now he had to either play the move knight f3 or simply bishop developing, maybe even to c4. But he took my knight, and I looked at this for a second and I just, okay, I'm gonna have to take back. But now I realize this is fine because I developed a piece. I have one piece developed and he has no pieces developed. And the good thing about the queen development is before I couldn't do this because he could always play knight to c3. But now I can't play knight to c3 because he gave away his knight. So now it's no problem keeping my queen over there. So I said, okay, I'm a piece developed, so without any worries, so I'm fine. He played knight f3. Now there are many lines. I could have played e5 immediately. I could have pinned his knight, but I went for my a more subtle approach with g6. I played d4, going for the center, and I played bishop to g7. Okay, so this is the way I played it. He played a supporting move c3. Maybe he could have immediately played the move bishop to e2 immediately, but he did not go for it, so he played c3. I played knight c6, developing move, bishop to e2 now. I castle, he castles, and now I play queen to d6. Now you're wondering, why would I play queen to d6? Well, there are many sort of threats that, well, not even threats, but I would call them nuisances that white could have in the potential future. For example, I was seeing a lot of ideas with the move c4, and the thing is, I can't really take his pawn on c4 because it's supported by the bishop, and I can't take the pawn on e4 because it's supported by the knight. So I'd have to move back and he'd start gaining space. And I was saying, like, if I give him this space advantage, it's not necessarily bad, but it's a nuisance. I said better I keep things simple with queen d6. He played bishop to g5. Okay, it's tempting me to play some rubbish like f6 for example, but I'm not gonna do that, definitely not, because if I'll ruin the bishop. Or probably was thinking I'd play the move h what 6, and he's probably thinking I'm gonna ruin my pawns for him, but no. e5. Now here I think I should have played this move a bit earlier, but I decided I think it was safe to do it now. He accepted. Queen takes queen, rook takes, knight takes, knight takes, and bishop takes. Now here I have a piece developed, as like he has a piece developed. Maybe he's a bit now he has the development, but there's a reason to why I have this specific position. I have this specific position because there are lots of ideas. For example, if I played eventually the moves bishop to e6, bishop to d6, I can close his open files, or maybe not even bishop to d6, you know, but it's an idea where if I close his files and I build some minor play, maybe eventually with the move h6 and so on, I can start building a bit of a decent position as black. So he immediately saw h6 and he went for bishop h4. Maybe this was not his best move. He had to capitalize with either the move rook to d2, at least trying to double the rooks, which was an idea. Bishop to h4, okay. Then I went bishop to e6, attacking his pawn and also closing the future open e file that could arise. He played this move, okay. h6, I'm starting to have this idea of now playing with the move g5. He played bishop to f3. I still didn't go for g5, however, because my pawn was under attack, so first I played c6. Rook f to e1, so I still didn't have time to. If I played g5, he takes, I take, and things get a bit messy, so I said no, I don't want messy things. So as you can see in this position, he wants to scope down on the 7th rank, but he just can't scope down on the 7th rank because, I mean, my bishop is protecting, you know, the t7 square, and he can't scope down on the e file because my bishop, you know, is in the way. So this was my idea. Bishop to f6. Now his idea, okay, probably he doesn't want me to come with the king out to squares such as g7. Okay. Now I play the move bishop to d8. Now the reason for this is, of course, I want him to exchange and I can get a decent rook. So it's exactly what happened. Bishop takes, rook takes, and now he played the shocking rook takes. And I was saying, okay, rook takes, and I have the open file. What do you have? You have no open file. If you try to exchange your rooks now, I mean, like I'm speaking to white, you're gonna have such a good bishop, and I can have I have a bit of a better pawn structure since you have a bit of a bad backward pawn on the b file, and I don't. I mean, if my backward pawn can sort of be pushed, and I'm fine. So I was saying to myself, okay, maybe this is not so bad, but I mean, I can play, and he has a bit of weaknesses. When he played a3 earlier, he knew he was about to. I don't think he calculated that at the end game is going to be a bit weak. So I played the move. He played the move b4 for space. Probably he's also saying he realized that he didn't have that weakness, so he wanted to push it out of the way. I played the rook d2, taking the. Now, okay, before was not as bad as you think it is, because okay, it's true. He gave me his second rank, which is very strong, and I think it was not good of him. But his idea, of course, before was he wanted to get rid of the weakness. So I played with the second rank. Now, probably here he had to play the immediate rook to e2, which actually cannot be played because there's rook to the 1 check. He has to play rook back, and I will checkmate him. So no, he can't play that. But maybe he could have exchanged rooks here, because I think if he gave me the second rank, he's sort of giving me a lot of power. So probably, let me just calculate this. So yes, he cannot even play the move rook to e2 because there is the mate. My god. So he had to play, I think rook exchange would have been fine, and then b4 later. So he played it b4 2 bit too early. I said rook d2. Bishop to d1, and I didn't know this what he wanted to do here, because I'm immediately after rook a2 and he pushes the pawn. Okay, he was thinking that I'm going to take the pawn, but then there's this tactic that's quite nice. So I first play rook a1. I'm pinning his bishop, and now the threat is to play bishop to b3 in my case, and now he needs to find a defensive move. So what would I have suggested to him? He can only play one decent move, I guess, and let me just analyze with the engine to be sure. Yeah, the only defensive move he has here is King F1, which is what he played, and the tactic comes Bishop C4 check. He plays the move, the only good move, Bishop to E2, Bishop takes E2 check, King takes, and now we're a pawn up with Rook takes A4. Now in this position, we have an idea of our pawn majority, another pawn majority. We can enable it, and the idea of enabling the pawn majority, which is on the queen side now, is that we can have a bit strong position. So this is good, and he doesn't have a majority anywhere, so we have an advantage over him, and we're also a pawn up, so this helps matters. Now F4. Again, looking for spatial ideas. Now rook a2 check. This was okay. The idea was simply I did not like the rook on f4, so playing it on a2 check gives me a flexible option to maneuver it if I want. King f3. Okay, king f3, because there were a few bad moves. For example, he could have played a bit of a more dubious looking f1, allowing me just to come in to c2. But here, at least with the king f3 move, he offers, the chance to come on squares such as e3. I played king f8, h4, which is trying to gain space, rook d2. Again, I am trying to maneuver rook e3, rook d6. Now I am trying to protect against any pesky idea of coming on my d file. g3, again, he's trying to enable what he has on the king side. Rook e6, trying to exchange. Didn't go for it. King e7. c4 for space again. Again, I try to exchange. He doesn't want it again. Rook d7 and c5. Okay, those spatial ideas. King d8. I thought about maneuvering to c2, c7, sorry, but this was not going to be a good idea, so I didn't go for it. King g4, rook d4. So this is a very boring sort of endgame, because even though I'm a pawn up, it's still a tough position. I mean, okay, I'm +1 on the engine, but it's not as easy as you think, because okay, I have to enable my pawn majority, but I also have a backward pawn on b7, so I have to look after that too. Rook b3, and I play f5 check. Now this was a good move, because the idea here is when he comes to king f3, I can start playing the moves rook to even e4, and I can come in with my king to e3, then to d5, and I'm fine. I think that's my idea. And so I'm going to aim for this b4 pawn, potentially even the c5 pawn, and I'm going to start causing havoc, also trying to get the best of my pawn majority. King f3, king e6. Now I played rook e3 check. Okay, king d5. Now I'm going with my plan. Rook e5 check, king c4, rook e6. Okay, now he's aiming for my pawns. So I took b4, he took g6, and I just played the move a5 immediately. Okay, a5. Now, okay, my idea is simple. I'm gonna win this pawn that he has anyway on c5. So I play a5 to start immediate threat of my passed pawn. And I don't even think that there's a way of stopping it, but let me show the engine. Well, there is one way. If he takes h6, yeah, he'd have to take h6, which is what he did. I play a4, and now he has to play either the moves rook d6, rook e6, or rook h7. And he played none of the above. He played rook f6. I continued my plan with a3. Now he played the move rook takes f5, and I'm gonna queen now with the move a2. He realizes after rook f8, I queen. Now this game was important because it was against a player who was quite high, a bit higher rated than me, so I got some rating. So I hope you learned from this game. I hope you rate, comment, and subscribe for future videos. So yes, here you learned a lot of basic ideas and some mistakes that my opponent made, and how I was playing to simplify. Really, this game didn't have many major tactical ideas. This was a game of simplification. So I will end this video on a positive note. See you all. Thank you and bye.